10864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in! 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Welcome into Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano filling in for Joey Mack today. He's here in the studio with his child. Jordy McMurray is in the Country Financial Studios. I don't know why the camera is pointed this way. It should be pointed the other way. But you guys are stuck with me for the rest of the show, and there is a lot to talk about in Oregon athletics. Softball down in Mexico. They're in the midst of their start of the season. Women's basketball in action tonight. Track is just about everywhere across the country. Women's tennis just getting started over at the Student Tennis Center against Iowa. And what a win it was last night for men's basketball. A huge victory for the Ducks. Oregon came in knowing that this was a big game against USC and the Trojans. Both teams firmly on the NCAA tournament bubble, and Oregon stuck it to USC. A 78-60 victory over the Trojans, and you knew right out of the bat it was the energy you were looking for Oregon to come out and play with. And Foley Dante got 2 quick buckets, and then right away, Nate Biddle dashing in from the baseline, a hard dunk to the rack, slapped the back of the backboard, and it was off and running for Oregon. A mammoth first half for the Ducks, an 18-1 run in the first half, which ballooned Oregon's lead out to 18. That run included 2 fantastic pick-and-roll alley-oops to Khalil Ware from Will Richardson, and everything was rolling in the first half for Oregon, including 11 points for Jermaine Couisnard. The Ducks, they got up by that 18-point lead. They held a 15-point lead headed into the break, and Oregon was doing absolutely everything on both sides of the ball. It was the offensive effort for Oregon, a well-rounded first half, and defensively, the Ducks, they got it done as well. Starting strong and finishing strong. It was the key for Oregon in this game. In the second half, USC never got within 14 points. That was exactly the type of response that you were looking for Oregon when you saw this matchup in Matthew Knight Arena that was tabbed for last night. How did they do it? Well, I just talked about the first half efforts as a team, but there was one man who was phenomenal. It was the floor general, Will Richardson. He was playing like that floor general. 16 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds for Will Richardson. That's a well-rounded stat line if I've ever seen one. The Ducks, they are 13-3 when Will Richardson scores between 10 and 19 points. And what that means for Oregon is that, well, he's getting his buckets. He's getting his at the hoop, but he's also facilitating the ball incredibly well. Those 9 assists, they match the total for USC in the game. 18-9. That was the difference between Oregon and USC in the assist differential in the game. Dana Altman talked about it post-game. He said that every single category was won by Oregon when he was on the radio talking with Joey Mack, and it wasn't just Will Richardson who got it done for the Ducks. The big man play for Oregon. All 3 of the big contributors in the front court, They had big-time games. And Foley Dante, 17 points, 5 rebounds, efficient shooting, 8 of 11 from the field. USC had no answer for him on the interior. 3 blocks as well for Dante, a rim presence on the defensive side of things. Nate Biddle, he tied a career high with 11 points for himself. He had 6 rebounds as well. Khalil Ware, limited minutes, only had 12 minutes. He made the most of them. 8 points, 3 rebounds, and Oregon had a huge points in the paint advantage over USC in this contest. Oregon, fantastic, scored 38 points in the paint, a double-digit differential between Oregon and USC in terms of points in the key. And it wasn't just the offense. Defense was fantastic. Oregon outscored the Trojans 17-3 in points off of turnovers. Only allowed 60 points. We've made a big deal in here about that 70-point margin of if USC, if an opposing team gets to that 70-point differential, well, that's really where teams start to get the wins over Oregon. USC didn't sniff it. 60 points for the Trojans. Oregon, defensively, from start to finish, played really sound, high-energy basketball. That's something that Dana Altman likes because his team is competing for a tournament spot. His team is competing to be in that field of 68 in March Madness, and right now firmly on the bubble. According to Joe Lenardi in his latest bracketology that came out this morning, Oregon still on that bubble in the first 4 out. USC still on the right side of the bubble in the last 4 buys. But Oregon in the net rankings, which is what a lot of committee members look at when they are going to choose who is going to be in that final field, the Ducks actually jump USC. The Trojans started at 50th going into last night's game. They dropped to 57th. Oregon was 53rd headed into last night. They took USC's spot at 50. All that being said, a big step for the Ducks moving forward, a huge step for Oregon as they continue to try to achieve what their aspirations are moving forward towards the end of the season. It's a good win for Oregon. Still work to do. Dana Altman met with the media post-game to talk about the win.
So it looked a lot more like you drew this up to look how many months ago?
Yeah, we played pretty hard tonight, and, our depth was good. And we still have more depth with, Luke and Brendan wanted to play a little bit, but those 8 guys were playing pretty good. But no, I thought defensively we played good. We beat them in every category except second chance points, which kind of kept them in the game the second half. They not sure how many they had the first half, but it just seemed like second half, they got a lot of them. So I thought, other than that, I thought we did they had only 4 at half, so they had 12 second chance points second half. So other than that, we beat them on the boards. We had 40-some deflections. Our activity was good. Boogie got some shots down, but I thought other than the first 3 we gave him, they were all pretty tough. So, that was one of our better efforts.
Think of just your team's ability to get to the rim and score or shoot free throws. It felt like you guys were there quite a bit.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. Will got there, Keyshawn a couple times, Jermaine. So, when those guards are able to get in there and had a couple lobs because of that and, dump off. So that, penetration, when guys can get going downhill, does make a big difference offensively.
Obviously, every win is important to you guys right now, but just in terms of beating a good team in such dominating fashion, how does that affect the confidence, the psyche, just kind of going forward in this next 3-4 week stretch?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, our guys, feel pretty good right now. Just, they look at each other and feel like we got depth. They know they can rely on each other a little bit. So, no, I think they all feel pretty good about things. We got a quick turnaround here we got a late game and turnaround for Saturday. So, be quick turnaround, but, I like our depth and just got to keep everybody healthy and swing away on Saturday.
Drew Peterson, you got to go in early. You made a couple tough fadeaways. Did you guys make an adjustment at all? He ended up going 3 for 8. Was there any adjustment?
Not really. He's a really good player. He's really been a pain in our rear the last couple of years. He's played really well. And so, with him and Boogie, their 1-2 punch, is pretty good. And so we knew going in, those two and Johnson had a nice game against us tonight, so kind of what we expected, but I thought the guys, didn't give Drew anything really easy. And, Boogie, got a lot of points, but other than that first 3, I thought, we challenged him pretty good. He's a good offensive player, and he gets it going. He's pretty tough to stop.
What did you think of Quincy's just activity?
First half, I thought was really good. I got to look at the film. I didn't think it was quite as good the second half, but he had 6 rebounds. He had 5 at half, but I really thought he was big boost in the first half. I remember we had 3 second chance points at half, and it was on his offensive rebound. We worked around, got a foul and a bucket. So, no, I thought the first half he really was really good. And second half, I just got to watch the film. I got after him on 1 rebound. He said he cracked down on somebody else's guy, so I got to check that out. But, no, I thought his energy, in particular the first half, was really good. I thought it gave us a big boost.
You feel like you've broken through and got through Khalil now? That the effort's very different the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I think he's been good. He's been a little better in practice. There's so much there. You see the God-given ability that he has to finish plays, and he's got a soft touch. And he didn't play very well in L.A. against UCLA. The physicality kind of, so I told him he's got to get ready for a really physical game. And I thought he fought the physicality a little better tonight. But Saturday will be a big challenge for him.
Collectively, what did you think of Dante, Khalil, and Bill? It seemed like they were pretty tough for USC to handle.
No, Dante is really a force in there. Eyes aren't very good. 8 for 11, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Nate was 3 for 5, 4 for 4 from the line, and then Khalil was 3 for 4. So, that 6 for 9 there and 8 for 11. Yeah, no, we'll take that kind of production inside anytime.
Switching throughout the night, who was guarding Drew, but just Will did a pretty good job on him the whole game, especially in the first half. Just can you talk about his performance on defense?
No, I thought Will was really good. You take out a couple of the turnovers, but he only had 3 tonight with 9 assists. We'll take a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio every night. And so, no, I thought Will was really good. And Dante was really good. Dante had 11 deflections. So his activity, he had a fourth of our deflections, just really active. I thought he did a tremendous job.
Your thoughts on seeing Jamie and Tiger one more time here and what that matchup?
Well, they're really good. And Mick's done a great job, and they've really improved their depth. Their freshmen are playing really good. Bailey really, you look at his numbers in conference are off the chart. And so, no, it'll be a big test. Their analytics are good. Everything's good. Their defense is outstanding. It'll be a physical game. It'll be 2 teams really getting after each other, and it'll be a really physical game.
Last question.
What did you make of just the atmosphere tonight, and how important will that be for you guys on Saturday?
Oh, I thought it was really good. I thought the students were good. They always, give us the best lift there, and I thought they were good. So no, I thought we had a great atmosphere tonight, and when we got it going, I thought they really got into it. So we got to give them something, but when we give them something, they're pretty good. And Saturday, I hope we have a bigger crowd and more energy. We know how tough a game it's going to be, and it's obviously a big one for us. So we're going to have to play really well.
Big game coming up for Oregon against UCLA coming up on Saturday. That interview brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. The game on Saturday is going to be big. The game last night was big, and that's because two teams that were in front of Oregon in the Pac-12 standings going into the weekend, a chance for Oregon to try to get into those top 4 in the Pac-12 for the ever-important bye when it comes to Las Vegas. You look at the top of the table, UCLA sitting at 11-2. That's Oregon's next opponent coming up tomorrow night. Arizona then at 11-3 right below. USC now 9-4 after the loss to the Ducks. Tied in the win column with Oregon, who is tied with Utah for that 4th spot in the conference at 9-5 in Pac-12 play. This weekend, it can't be overstated how important it is for Oregon in conference competition to move up against teams that started above them in the standings. When we come back, it's going to be the student athletes, Will Richardson and Folly Dante. They met with the media. Kalel Ware talked with Joey Mack postgame on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Ryan Milano, filling in for Joey Mack today, and it was a big win last night with Joey Mack on the call against USC. Oregon got the 78-60 win. Will Richardson and Folly Dante, they had tremendous performances, both of them north of 15 points. They met with the media postgame. Here it is.
The team, this program has been built around the two of you for the past 2 years.
Sure.
Was this basically what you for this season, what it's supposed to look like in an ideal world, that this is what you guys have been shooting for 3-4 months now?
Yeah, I would say for the program, yeah, I mean, everybody contributed tonight. Lil came in, gave us big minutes. Quincy was leading us with rebounds at halftime. So, I mean, from like the team standpoint, yeah, I mean, everybody's buying into the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's worrying about playing time. Nobody's worrying about how many shots they got. It's just everybody's buying into defending and rebounding. And I think we did that well tonight. Big fella guys going.
Man. Needed that one so bad.
Well, what was the difference you feel like in this game that you dominated from start to finish, this team, as a team did? What was the difference for you guys?
I mean, like I said before, we really buying into the defensive side of the ball. Like, I think the first 11 minutes, they only had like 11 points. And it's, as a team on the road, it's hard to get your head up and get your team going, like when you only score 11 points in 11 minutes. And then we just, I mean, like we're starting to realize we just going with what's working. So, like, early in the game, was stagnant. They went to a zone. We just fed Fale a couple times, and it was working. So we went back to it, and then once we got him a sub out, and then we go to something else and just see what was working. So I mean, we're starting to get used to the feel and riding a hot hand, and it's just a great feeling.
Well, you think anything from their performance here last year kind of stayed out in your mind after Drew hit that game-winning shot?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially for the returners, we got a lot of new guys, so they don't really know about it. But Coach made the point, and for the returners, like me, Fale, and Quincy, and Waldo, Nate, we always try to make the point. Like, I mean, we kind of old. We only get one shot at them this year, and they came last year and kind of broke our hearts a little bit, So took it a little personal, but I mean, I wouldn't even say too much focus on that. Like, this is just part of our journey. Like, they were just another team on our journey. So we just taking a step every game, getting a little better, coming a little closer. And this actually feel like team win, whether I have a good game or not. Like, these last couple games just feel like everybody's on one page.
Well, going back to Drew Peterson, you were matched up with him a bunch of this game. What was the key to the defense tonight? You went 3 for 8 from the field. Like, what was the key? Was there any adjustments made?
Nah, I mean, we've been getting better at like realizing like what makes the team go, and we feel like he makes the team go. Like Boogie scores a lot, but Peterson, he assists, he rebounds, he scores efficiently. So we kind of like he makes the team go. So we know he'll hit a couple fadeaways, a couple tough shots. We'll live with those though, because those are never like a high percentage. So I mean, just keying in on them. Like that's part of the scouting report, knowing who their best player is, and like he's their best player. So
Well, I know you personally have been trying to get a lot more out of Khalil. And it seems like the last few games, he's starting to contribute a lot more for you guys and play a lot harder, play better. What have you seen that's been different from him the last week or two?
I mean, I tell him, I keep telling him that like he's just gotta do you. You got great talent, and when he's in flow, just show it. I had to deal with him in the practice, so it's not easy. So I had to deal. So I was just telling him like when he came in games, just do the same thing. Keep talking to him, and then he listens. So I'm happy for him.
And I help him out a little bit. To Khalil's side though, he's young. He's like 18 years old. He's a kid from Little Rock, Arkansas, a small town. He didn't know what he was in for, but to his like he's still fighting. Like he don't ever drop his head and just sit on the bench and pout. Like you look over there, he's cheering for Fale. Like and it's hard. I feel him though. It's hard guarding Fale every day in practice. I mean, he's shooting like 60% from the field, but he's learning though. And it's just great to see. Like he's just coming with energy every day. He's starting to learn that like him not having energy is just as bad as like it's worse than him having energy. And he's starting to learn that though. So it's just showing in the game. He's just proud of him.
Paul, you had that steal and that breakaway. Looked like you were going in. You kind of fumbled the ball. What did Coach say to you when he took you out of the game right then?
Oh, he just told me to make a simple play. He was, he's telling me it was a good block. So if I make a simple play, I could get a ball back. But yeah.
You had a big play when you were heading down the court with the ball?
Oh yeah, I'm glad they tipped that ball away. If they didn't, it would be another one again.
Coach started calling him Magic Dante. That's what we call him in practice. This summer he'll go down full court, call him Magic Dante.
That is right.
Well, it's an unusual circumstance now in college basketball, 5-year players, but you've had quite a rivalry with Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Saturday and getting them for, I think it's like the 10th time in y'all's careers?
I don't really look into like personal matchups. This is a big game for our program. We need it. Like we're on the verge of like trying to get to the postseason. It's a big game for us. It's a quad one game. They're on the roll. They think they got a good chance to win the Pac-12, and we're still fighting for a good spot in seeding in the Pac-12. So it's a big game for us. And I mean, our whole team, our whole staff, we know it. We know it as a team. I don't really personal now, but for the team for sure.
Dante, what's going to be important for you in particular against UCLA on Saturday? That was a game last time down there. I think you maybe battled trouble.
Yeah, I just I'm gonna try to be more smart and play hard, like do whatever my team needs. It's all about the team. I can't have a mindset. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this. I just gotta play hard and do whatever the team needs to win it. This is really good, important game for us.
Get some buckets for us, man.
Oh yeah, I get it, but I got you, brother. That's my dub.
What's it like getting double teamed sometimes even before you get the ball? Like USC tried to do that today. Like Will was trying to pass it into you, and they were doubling you. Like, have you adjusted to that?
Oh yeah, I got used to that. Every time we play, I get double teamed. So he opened like a great opportunity for us. Just gotta make a better play for my team. For him, we're gonna hate it. So they gotta keep doing it.
They call him Magic Dante when he's running the full court. But it was clear last night the facilitator was Will Richardson. He had 9 assists to go along with his 16 points. Well, Khalil Ware wanted him to get one more. He talked with Joey Mack postgame.
Khalil Ware's joining us, and he just looked at one of the notes from John Lundquist saying, who had 9 assists? I said Will Richardson. And then you got to tell everybody what you said when I said that.
I mean, he had 9. He would have had 10. He's had to throw me another lob. just one more.
Just one more lob. You know, how big were those for you to get, Khalil? I mean, for the entire gym, I mean, they go crazy when you get a lob play like that. You have 2 of them right in a row.
Yeah, just catching lobs and especially completing them. I know they just get the gym, like, rocking and getting the energy up. Yeah, getting the energy up.
I've been talking about this a couple times that when you guys have those great energy plays early in a game, it can really dictate the pace. You feel like you had that tonight?
I feel like I most definitely had that. Everybody had it, even on the bench. Even for the ones that didn't play, I feel like everybody still brought the energy. And just with me going in the game, I feel like I showed more energy this game than I have in previous games. So I just got to keep that up.
What's the key to that for you? I mean, how do you do that?
Just. I don't want to sound like that, but I guess just playing with anger, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
you know, it's interesting, though. I've talked to a lot of players over the years that have said something similar. Like, you kind of have to find that edge, don't you? I mean, that's what is that? Is it pregame routine? Is it energy on the bench from the guys? I don't know. How do you find it?
It's just going in, playing physical, just knowing that you can get to your move and just compete and just want to win the game. That's it. You just got to want to win.
And it helps when you catch a lob and you know, do what you did.
Most definitely.
Were you surprised that you were able to execute it on back-to-back possessions like that? Because when I heard the call, I was like, oh, this will be interesting. And then they covered you, but, you know, when you can dunk over them and foul anyway, I guess you do whatever you want.
Yeah, I always tell the point guards, no matter if they still on me or not, just throw it to where they can't get it. I'm going to finish it for them.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I was really impressed because it was down at that end, your first one, and I was really impressed with the way that you caught it and hung in the air. I mean, I know this is maybe an obvious question, but how much is athleticism a benefit to you when you play?
It's a big part of my game because just being 7 foot and being able to be athletic and, you know, not slow and being able to be flexible, that really helps you out when you're 7'1".
So an 18-point win, you guys know what this means, and it's a big one now.
A big one
on Saturday. What's it going to take? What are the keys to success for you and the guys coming up on Saturday?
Same thing that happened tonight and more. You got to come out with more energy, play more harder, and just compete. That's it.
Khalil, when you play well, you're stuck talking to me. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll talk to you Saturday. I like that.
I'll be here.
Khalil Ware joining us. Hey, thanks, buddy. Appreciate the time.
Well, Khalil Ware, he's hoping to talk with Joey on Saturday against UCLA. It's going to be a big-time matchup between Oregon and the number 1 ranked team in the Pac-12, at least number 1 in the Pac-12 standings, the UCLA Bruins. They're 11-2 in conference play. Fans, remember, wear black to that game in Matthew Knight Arena against UCLA. These teams have already matched up one time before this season. That game happened early in the year, early December. Remember, that game was when Keyshawn Bartholomew, Jermaine Kuznar, Nate Biddle, they were all still on the mend with injuries. It's a different year. It's a different season. It literally is a different year. That was 2022. It's 2023 now, and Oregon is playing some much better basketball at this point in time. That was one of those weird conference games that was stuck in the middle of the non-conference. The Bruins right now, headed into this game, they're on a 3-game winning streak, but those are against teams that are in the Pac-12 conference that are below 500 in conference play. The 2 games before that 3-game stretch, losses against USC and against Arizona, 2 of those teams that are competing for a top 4 seed in the Pac-12 tournament. So UCLA, they've had losses in Pac-12 play, certainly not invincible. And something else to note for fans, the poster for UCLA, that game is now out. It's this one right here. The Hollywood sign is featured. We've got the Eugene sign in the background, and then a man holding a basketball. Good work. The poster series featuring all the posters here behind me. Great job by the students that have made that art for the game day poster series. It's going to be a big one against UCLA in Matthew Knight Arena. Remember, fans, wear black. When we come back, it's not just the men's basketball team who are facing off against the LA schools. Women's basketball, they're down in Southern California, preparing to face off against USC tonight. When we come back, we'll preview it on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Chris Jakimick, I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back in the Country Financial Studios. I'm Ryan Milano, filling in for Joey Mack. Duck Insider, of course, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. And we just broke down the men's basketball and their weekend against the LA schools. Well, the women's basketball team is also facing off against the LA schools. Tonight, 7 p.m., Terry Johns will have the call on the Oregon Sports Network against USC and the women of Troy. And this was the game for Oregon that probably was the most impressive game of the season to this point when they faced off against USC the first time. It was a mammoth 73-45 win where Filipina Che grabbed 20 rebounds. 20 of them! That is a crazy number. Dominant on the boards has Filipina Che been all year long, and none other was more important than that game against USC. A blowout victory for Oregon in Matthew Knight Arena. India Rogers scored 19. Taya Hansen was fired from deep. She had 5 3-pointers on 7 attempts from beyond the arc. With all that being said, USC is still a very good team in Pac-12 conference play. They're above 500. They're a team that has continued to compete throughout the year, and it's probably going to be a team that's going to end up in March. Oregon's also hoping to be one of those teams to end up in March at the end of the year, and it's a big road test for the Ducks as they try to break a 3-game skid. Kelly Graves met with the media on Wednesday to break down this meeting against the LA schools.
Beyond just Sunday, defensively, your steal rate is lower, but you also don't necessarily have the depth to where you can press as much early in games. And when you try to do it, it's kind of hit and miss. Yeah. How do you try and improve in something, but at the same time, you're kind of boxed in a little bit?
Yeah, well, we do need to pick up the pressure a little bit, whether it's in full court or half court. We just got to, I think, continue to do a better job. We're at our best when we can kind of create off our defense. We haven't done enough of that, but our defense has actually been relatively solid. It was not on Sunday. But we've got to get the defense and the offense matched up. But yes, you're absolutely right. We do need to create a little bit more defensively.
So you said it wasn't solid on Sunday. Aside from giving up too many points, what are some of the details or nuances that you picked up watching the game film that need to work on?
We just gave up 100 points, so there's a lot to enumerate. I think the main thing is we hit a really, a good team that was shooting well. It was a tough matchup for us with Peely. She knocked down that three, the first shot of the game, and Philly, she's just not as equipped to defend a player like that, and so it kind of negated her height a little bit, and they just run so much good stuff, and we were just seemed like a step behind most of the night, and never really created what we need. We didn't force many turnovers. They didn't force many turnovers. I think both teams just decided we're going to try and outscore each other, and it was a really well played game at the offensive end. But yeah, too many things to enumerate, to be honest with you.
With teams who are going to go inside and then kick it out to create those threes. All right, Utah may do it to an extreme, but there are other teams with capable shooters. Now, how much has to be like defensive anticipation just to close out and prevent some of those passing lanes?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're talking about a lot of different things that we've got to do better. Like I said, I think we've made some improvement. If you look at the numbers defensively, we've done some good things 3 or 4 games before Sunday. We're just the kind of team that we're not blessed with a ton of overall size, and so we have to game plan and try and take this away this game and let this kid shoot the next game, and we've been trying to do that, but we just got to be a lot better defensively. And that starts with the coaches. We've got to game plan better, make them execute the game plan, and we're obviously not doing as well as we should as well.
SC is going to be a very different challenge compared to the first time because Sissoko didn't play the first time. What kind of threat does she pose when you have to play her this time around?
Yeah, well, she's an elite player, no question. Can beat you off the bounce. Great mid-range shooter. She doesn't shoot with range, so you can make her beat you in other ways. But yeah, it's going to be a bigger challenge. They're playing with a lot more confidence than they did here. I think that's a big part. But they beat Stanford without her, so it's not like she. She's obviously a great player, but they have other really good ones too that are capable. Rhea Marshall's playing as well as anybody in the conference right now. That's a big concern, and same with Littleton. She's playing well. She didn't shoot it well the first time against us, but also I think we can even be better. Grace only had 4 points against them the first time. Struggled only 7 shots. Only played about 20 minutes. And Tahina, wasn't, didn't have a great game either. So I think, can even be better.
How do you prevent Marshall from getting to the line? Because first time, 3 of 15 is great, but with 8 free throws, it's basically like 7 of 15 in the grand scheme. So how do you prevent her from getting there?
She's a good player, and she's going to probably get there. I think we did a great job of getting her out of the game with her own foul trouble, and I think that really helped. You just got to play good, sound defense, and I liked our practice today. We actually worked on post defense, and it looked pretty good. I thought our kids played hard, and technically they were pretty solid.
What do you feel like the level of urgency is with this team right now? Do you feel like you're at that point where the team is feeling a little bit desperate about picking up some of these wins?
Yeah, level of urgency right now is 10 out of 10. We know where we're at. We know what we need to do. I think we're still in position to get some good quality wins down the stretch. I don't think there's a single game left on our schedule that's not winnable for us. We obviously have to play really well and better than we have been. But, I still think we're going to need 3 or 4 more wins, to get ourselves into the NCAA tournament. So we've got to find them. So, we talked about sense of urgency and practicing with that this morning, right before practice today. And we got to play that way right from the tip. We need to be the hungriest team.
Use the NCAA tournament and maybe what you need to do to kind of show the urgency of, hey, this is where we're at, or kind of how do you use that as a carrot?
I did today. Yeah. I think it's important for our team to know that A, we're still in a position to get there. B, we've got to win some games, and to do that we have to play with more of a sense of urgency. I think it's still something that's attainable. If you look at all the measurements, I don't know where we're at in the net. That's just one, we've got to get some quality wins. That's the bottom line. But our efficiency numbers are still solid, which surprises me, given our shooting woes in the last few weeks. But we in the end need to pull some of these close games out.
I just want to ask you, what has Taylor Hosendove given you the last 2 games? Probably her best 2 games as a Duck, obviously, in losses, so you maybe don't want to. But what has she done that has allowed her to play at such a high level?
Well, for her to really help us, she just got to continue to do those little things. The 8 or 7 offensive rebounds that she had last game, those are the little things. She allows us to maybe switch a little bit more when she's on the floor because we're not so big there. She can actually guard guards. Just that's what she's got to do. Give us energy, and she's one of our few players that really talks well out there on the court. So she gives us some energy and emotion.
2 years ago, that LA trip was a bit of a turning point. I realize it's also a bit of a Royal Rumble in the midst of it, but this isn't a personality issue with this team as it was 2 years ago. But how much you have to hope that this LA trip could be that late season turning point for you guys?
I don't remember it 2 years ago in LA.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, just off the top of my head, I don't.
After the UCLA loss, and you were pretty pointed about how poor it was, and the practice in between was rather passionate, I'd say.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, that was a COVID year, right?
Yes.
I'm only worried about Friday's game. I haven't really looked back because this is a whole different team. You guys, listen. It's pretty simple. We just have to play. We have to play better, and not that we're playing poorly. We just gotta we gotta find a way to get it done. That's bottom line.
What do you feel like is the biggest key to beating USC the second time this year?
We got to handle their pressure, because they are physical. They're really good defensively. Again, it was already mentioned. We have to do a good job on their post players, and then somehow negate Littleton. We can't let Littleton do what other guards have done against us and have great shooting nights.
Kelly Graves knows it. An opportunity for a big win tonight against USC. That game's at 7 p.m. on Pac-12 Networks or on the Oregon Sports Network with Terry Johns on the call in Southern California. When we come back, it's India Rogers who met with the media on Wednesday as she previewed a meeting against USC. When we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for today's STEM tip. Okay, you know recycling is important. No one wants plastic in the ocean. Here's a cool way to repurpose a plastic bottle. Build an awesome terrarium. Cut a large plastic bottle in half and fill the base with sand, pebbles, potting soil, and your favorite plant. I chose an African violet. Put the top of the bottle over your base and place it in the sun. Your plant will grow sealed in its own ecosystem. Fun, right? Learn more at She Can STEM. A message from the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studios, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. It's Duck Insider, Ryan Milano filling in for Joey Mack, who is in the studio on baby watch. But it's going to be a big-time game for Oregon women's basketball coming up this weekend. So we can't focus on the cute baby that is sitting in the studio. We're not allowed to because it just can't happen. It just can't happen. We have too many things that we need to get to today. India Rogers against USC last time out scored 19 points against the women of Troy. An opportunity again tonight at 7 p.m. for another big performance and a quality win for the Ducks. India Rogers talked with the media on Wednesday.
Does this one still mean a little something to you, playing your former team? Even if basically none of the players are there anymore, or a few of the players are there?
I don't really think about it. I know this is my first time back since I left. So, yeah, everybody knows I used to go to USC, and, yeah, it's just another game.
I imagine there's bigger things in your mind, though, thinking about the significance of this game for your guys this season. How big is this week for your team, obviously coming off a tough stretch?
Yeah, we're right there in the middle for the standings, and 2 big wins would mean a lot. We can get back on the horse. This is a great opportunity for us to get 2 great wins on the road.
You've played both these teams before. What do you take from that first experience? Obviously, you beat USC, tough loss to UCLA, but what do you kind of take from those games and carry over to this week?
We have to start off fast and be consistent throughout the game. Don't get too high, don't get too low. We're very aware that they're probably going to pressure us and try to take us out of some of our things, but it's important for us to stay poised and just be ready to adjust as the game goes.
What have the last couple of days been like for you guys? Obviously, I'm sure losing both games at home was probably really tough. What was kind of the key, and what do you kind of lean on over this time period where these are big games coming up?
Well, the main thing is making sure we're taking care of our bodies mentally and physically. Got to get in the gym, work, get some shots. We believe that it's coming for us. Something's going to click soon, so just staying in a positive headspace.
How confident are you guys that you're still a tournament team, that this is still a team that's going to make it to the postseason and has that capability?
We're very confident. We haven't really gotten beat by much in the games that we've lost. It's not like we're getting blown out or anything. We're right there. It's not. We can compete with everybody. We just got to fix the little things, and yeah.
What are some of those keys? Because you guys have been in a lot of these games. Is it more about getting the stops towards the end of the game, or is it about the execution overall?
It's just about making winning plays. Like the first possession, it matters for later on because maybe we want that layup or turnover or shot back, So it's just making sure we maximize our opportunities.
What do you feel like the urgency is on this team? Because obviously you guys have bigger goals that you're just not getting to right now. Where is the urgency with this team? Do you guys feel like you're in a desperation mode of getting wins?
Yes, we're very desperate. Coach said it today that we're only guaranteed about 7 more games. So we've got to start winning some games so that we can get ourselves over the hump and be ready come tournament time.
Having watched Sunday's film, what did you take away from that defensively? Were there things you guys can work on? Do you credit Utah just for hitting really strong offensive game, or kind of what's the mix from takeaway from that game?
I didn't really watch film from Sunday, but just being out there is just basically we got to get stops. Obviously, Alyssa was my former teammate, and she was a bit hard to guard. So, and then she has 4 shooters around her, but it was basically getting stops and making the key shots down the stretch.
How hard is it to, as much as you play, I mean, you're playing almost the whole game, where you guys don't get a lot of steals. And like when you try to create pressure and press, well, that's just physically taxing you guys a lot. And I can't remember if it was the Cal game or Stanford, like you're trying to press a little bit, but you can only do it for so long because you played 38 minutes. How hard is it to you're trying to get stops, trying to get steals and create that pressure, but for a player like you, like you can only expend so much energy before you had to come out of a game.
So what is the question?
So just how hard is that physically for you to do that? Like you feel like you're getting pulled in a lot of directions.
I feel like we don't start kind of doing it until the end of the game. Like if we're pressuring enormously, that's kind of toward the end of the game. And so it's just like in that moment, it's just whatever it takes. But doing it throughout the game, I'd probably need a couple subs.
Yeah.
Have you thought at all about if you'd use the COVID exemption year and come back next year? You considered that, or where are you at in that process?
I mean, it's there, but I haven't made a decision or anything.
Whatever it takes, India Rogers knows that Oregon needs some wins down the stretch. An opportunity for a big one against USC. Once again, 7 p.m. on the Oregon Sports Network, also on the Pac-12 Networks. And when we come back, Oregon softball season is here. The Ducks got their first win of the year just about an hour ago, right about when we took the air. We'll break it all down when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back in the Country Financial Studios, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. It's Duck Insider. I don't know where the baby went. We lost the baby. Joey took the baby. Okay, Joey took the baby. It's all good. No one panic. The baby is safe. It's okay. But it's Oregon softball season, so let's get excited. I personally am incredibly hyped up for this Oregon softball season, and maybe I am a little biased. I do have the opportunity to be the voice of the team. But I'm excited. I'm excited, man. Come on, let's go. Oregon got their first win of the year against Wisconsin. That happened right about when we went on the air. So at about 1 o'clock Pacific time, Oregon got that 4-2 win over Wisconsin. It's a 1-1 start to the season for the Ducks, as Oregon in the first game of the year against Maryland ended up dropping that game by a score of 7-3. And in that game against Maryland, it was not the start that Oregon would have wanted, a 5-run first inning for the Terrapins. But after that, Melissa Lombardi went to Elise Sokolsky out of the bullpen, the transfer from UConn, and Sokolsky did what I thought was a very, very good job in her relief. 5 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs. That's the type of innings that you want to see from someone in their first performance, especially their first performance as a Duck in the program. And I thought Sokolsky pitched very well, but the pitching performances, you have to look at what happened today when you're talking about highlight pitching performances, because it was a big performance for the Ducks all the way around. Reagan Breedlove did a tremendous job in relief, where she came in a huge jam. No outs in the top of the 5th. It was a 4-1 game at that point with the bases loaded, and she only allowed 1 run. And on a play, the run that was allowed was a ground ball to shortstop where Paige Shinicki went to the plate. bang play at the plate where Oregon was trying to cut down a run. It didn't work the first time. It did work the next 2 times where Oregon cut down 2 runs trying to get to home plate, and then were able to end the innings as Reagan Breedlove in that spot was able to induce 4 ground balls in a row. As a pitcher with the bases loaded and no outs, there's no better result. Maybe a strikeout, but that might be asking too much. Reagan Breedlove, phenomenal in her relief appearance. Elise Sokolsky did a tremendous job in middle relief in this game as well. And Morgan Scott, she got her start to the season where she got the ball to start this game against Wisconsin. I thought she pitched very well to start the season. So Melissa Lombardi, I talked with her on Tuesday about what's going to take for the rotation, and she said it's going to take a staff. Well, we saw the staff in action earlier today, and we're going to see the staff in action later today as well. It's a doubleheader. Oregon will be facing off against Oklahoma State coming up at 4 p.m. That game is going to be on Flow Softball. But it wasn't just the pitchers who got it done. A few of the offensive players also got it done. Alyssa Daniel, her first start of the season, she went 2 for 3 today against Wisconsin. Hannah Delgado's got a pair of hits to start off her season. Oregon, they're putting at-bats together. They're starting the season the way that you would like to see, at least for the first 2 games. 1-1 to start the year. Still a lot of room to continue to grow as there's 3 more games coming up to end the weekend against Oklahoma State later today, against Ole Miss coming up tomorrow, and against North Dakota State coming up on Sunday. That game, an early one. Rise and shine in Eugene, 6:30 in the morning against North Dakota State to end off the Puerto Vallarta Collegiate Challenge down in Mexico. And there's not just softball in action. It's a packed slate for Oregon as we continue to move forward through the weekend. You have women's basketball. They're in action tonight. 7 p.m. versus USC, that game on Pac-12 Networks. Sunday at 12 p.m. versus UCLA, that game on Pac-12 Oregon. Terry Johns on the call for both.
Yeah, Terry Johns. Can't wait to hear from him.
Can't wait to hear from him. And men's basketball as well. That's going to be in action tomorrow night, 7 p.m. against UCLA. Women's tennis, they're in action over at the Student Tennis Center. They're already up 1-0 over Iowa as the doubles play is underway. Track and field, they're everywhere. Don Kirby Invitational in New Mexico. David Hemry Valentine Invitational in Boston. Both of those meets on Flow Track. And the Husky Classic, that's in Seattle on Runner Space. Women's golf, they start a tournament this weekend. And women's lacrosse, the opener, coming up tomorrow.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the